Hi.
Stop loss.
Huh. What
I was away. At least I
interesting.
looked at my account, and unless I couldn't see my trade on there. I think I actually got stopped in that little pullback.
Oh, oil. Well, there were some interesting meetings during the week, Paul. Some really interesting meetings, and it involved the International Energy Agency, IEA, and Iran, and oil, and yeah, it went south really quickly. One of the reasons that we've got this bounce back up, just to give you a bit of a brief background, is IEA, the International Energy Agency. There was a meeting in midweek in Belgium. It's in Belgium, and we had everything to do with what was going on with Iran coming back into the whole deal. Now, Iran has had sanctions against them, US sanctions, since 2015 because of a breach of the nuclear pact that they had when they were invaded and all the rest of it. It was all very ugly. And the US have been trying to work through. Now, that aside, the US and Iran are working through the whole nuclear deal, and they are close to an agreement there. However, what we had here is the IEA saying that post 2021, which is this year, no new oil, gas, and coal projects, which doesn't really suit a lot of the OPEC countries. The OPEC countries have now rejected that whole IEA. As you could imagine, they're not very happy about being told no new oil, gas, or coal projects. Go figure, because OPEC is, at the end of the day, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. So it is in their interest to sort of like get that oil thing up and happening and promoted and all the rest of it. But the IEA had different ideas. The whole thing, it just sort of really exploded. As you can see here on the charts, it just went down. Where we had the recovery was and this is on Friday, by the way. It just had the whole hold the phone. We're not subscribing to this whole thought process. We're going to go. We're still doing it. Oh, and by the way, in the middle of all of that, Iran decided that they would announce that they're going to actually increase their level of pumping oil as well. So that was the whole fear of the market being flooded again. So we did have this massive pullback, 3-day pullback. As you can see on the daily chart, it just came flying back down. Yeah, it was unfortunate. As I said, and I keep saying, you've got to be really careful with oil because the fundamentals are really acute in this commodity. So as soon as somebody says something, there is a massive reaction here. And unfortunately, that's what we had. That's what we saw. We're trying to decipher it is one thing altogether. OPEC, as I said, have now rejected the IEA, saying, no, sorry, we're going to actually keep pumping in line with what we're doing because people still need oil. And whilst we are transitioning into this green, lovely community of no fossil fuels, of no coal, of no oil or gas, we still need to operate and function. So they're saying we do still have a product that still needs to be used and utilized. And that's what is happening here. Is still a bit of more, well, there's still a bit more leg to it, more to come. But yeah, we did have this massive pullback, which was not what we were expecting quite so much. Technically, charts wise, we've got this huge on the daily, a bullish engulfing candle. Do I expect it to bounce off that? Yes, I do. Let's see how we go. We've got this level down in here at 61.74. Call it 61.75 because, you know, it did actually give me a heartburn, but that's okay. It's what happens sometimes. But I have said repeatedly, be careful of the fundamentals, watch the fundamentals. You have to be across the fundamentals on oil. It's not one of the commodities that you can afford to just say, I don't watch the news, I don't listen to the news. You cannot do that with this commodity at all. It is fundamentally based. It goes from what people say and the sentiment, and it moves and flicks around, as you can see, huge amounts. So I hope if anybody was trading after, especially after that shooting star early in the week, that you were able to cover yourself. But that's the name of the game, is just being across this very volatile commodity at the moment. And it's just, I think it's going to remain that way for some time. Thanks, Paul.
Cheers, Ainslie. News leaves the oil all the time, doesn't it? You really do have to know your people and your stuff, and it is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a commodity. It is fundamentally driven, supply and demand.
Fundamentally, absolutely.
Uncertainty, these kind of things play a huge part in it, right?
Huge.
Thank you for that, Ainslie. Much appreciated. Looks like a lovely evening in Sydney there. I know that's really only a picture. How is Sydney this evening? Is it beautiful?
It's been beautiful today. Absolutely gorgeous. So we've been very lucky. It's meant to be winter in a couple of weeks, actually. And I'm just like, yeah, really? Somebody better tell the tomorrow.
I'm the same. Winter for you starts in June. I'm going to say in New Zealand it's a little bit different to that.
Beautiful weather. So, but not over the top. But very nice evening here in Sydney. So all the best.
Cheers, Ainslie.